There are 45 Steam achievements in Grounded, ranging from cooking a bug on the roasting spit to unaliving all of the bosses.
No! Oh god.
But for this challenge, I will try to complete Grounded at 100% within 100 days. This will be challenging, so I will be bringing in my friend Akisa for this as well, as it is our first time playing Grounded. Waking up in a kid's suitcase on day 1, I felt quite dizzy, confused and scared where I was until I heard Willow right next to me speaking. I immediately started picking up some scraps in the ground while discovering some strange looking bugs. We really felt small. Akisa managed to collect some sap from this tree after smacking at it with a rock for a bit.
Look how cute he is, though.
While Akisa was looking at the weevil, I picked up some mushrooms and was very confused how we started making stuff until I saw it haven't been analyzed yet, whatever that means. So I walked a few feet into this field station here where there was a resource analyzer thingamajiggy and analyzed a bit of resources to unlock some new recipes. Akisa also was reading some spacer safety tests she found, summarizing a little bit of the lore. But anyways, after analyzing the resources, I started by making myself a pebblet axe so I could chop down some grass. And that's when we saw our very first big ladybug. Then I got my first weevil smacked, which gave me some weevil meat to eventually cook. And cooking a bug is also part of my first Steam achievement. But as I went to look around for a bit, I had this red small little bug jumping after me with hostile thoughts. While I was looking for some sprigs to make myself a spear, Kisa was... I honestly have no idea what the Kisa was doing. She must be high or something because all she did was to walk around with some grass logs. So while Akisa is trying to figure out where her brain goes, let me talk about today's sponsor, StallCraft X. StallCraft X is an intense, action-packed extraction shooter that fuses hardcore PvP and PvE in a dynamic, ever-evolving world. StallCraft X surely has something for pretty much any player in an open-world environment, whether you are a PvP or PvE player that just wants to do some quests and events. This game will certainly have something for you, whether it's your clan wars, their high-risk, high-reward wild zones, the different game modes, or their highly customizable weapons with nearly endless gear combos. Oh ho ho! And there's always more, since the game is consistently receiving updates from the developers with a plan to release operations that features deadly bosses with many different seasonal events. And if you're still not convinced, I guess I should probably add that the game is completely free to play and fully multiplayer to bring in your friends for a fascinating experience. And on a final note, by using the code SM25PAPER, you can receive the following items which will give you an edge into the early stages of progression to make it a little bit easier. And a special thank you to StallCraft X for sponsoring this video. And can you look at that? Akisa finally figured out where her brain went. Either way, we stumbled upon some mint in a container here, but quickly got distracted by some sort of a Game Boy further down here. At least, we managed to quench our thirst with some dirty water after all of this. Akisa was researching some more stuff in the meantime, I was just looking around. Before I was gonna start attempting to get my first Steam achievement, I wanted to at least prepare a little bit first with some survival gear and such. I had to work on getting a workbench down just to make some armor as well. Akisa researched the sap she found, which gave us the recipe for a workbench now, because we didn't have it. Okay, as we can see here, we have a lot of recipes that are unlocked and hidden, and to achieve these other ones that's locked, we can either find a specific resource or basically just raise our brain power. But anyways, it was time to find a viable spot for us to live for now and make a workbench. I had to go out and look for some sap, while Akisa was looking for a spot for us in the meantime. Akisa placed out some blueprints already that we could literally fill in to complete the build of them. So now we pretty much got the workbench to start making our first piece of armor. Akisa made a plank pallet for us to store the grass planks, which is really convenient since these were kinda big. I was being creeped out by bugs all of the time, and a freaking ant was staring at my face.
What you looking at, boy?
The ant was literally planning something to do to us. It was getting late and we were getting slightly hungry, so I had to go out and look for some rocks to collect so we could have a campfire to cook our food.
No hopes, no dreams.
And as I was cooking up some meat because I was super hungry, I had a visitor suspiciously looking at my food.
What do you want? That's mine!
And then he committed treason. Unbelievable, because I thought we were friends.
He stole it! He stole the meat.
I managed to get the food back, but it was still raw and never got cooked. So the next one that will come for it, I will just smack its ugly face. But as the food finally cooked up, I got my first Steam achievement. The next achievement next up will be to analyze 15 resources. Akisa was severely disappointed in me when I was cooking up her friend that she somehow ate either way.
I guess he's delicious at least.
And after having our bellies filled with bugs, we needed to quench our thirst, and the best way for us to get clean water right now was to hit some grass to knock down a dew of water to slurp up. But as the sun finally disappeared, some nightly creatures like this spooder-like mama appeared, scaring the living soul out of me.
No! I hate spiders, Akiza. Please, let's go back home.
Just so you guys know, I am terribly afraid of spiders, so hopefully during this gameplay, I will get rid of my spider fear. So back at the camp, I analyzed a few more things in the scanner. Then we finished building a storage basket and then went to sleep, marking the end of day 1. The next day, Akisa researched the weevil's snout, which gave us access to a gas mask that will be super important much later in the game. But now, it was time to investigate this mysterious machine, where we picked up a cassette tape from Professor Wendell himself, basically telling us his experiences of being a small human himself. And after listening to the cassette, I pressed the button that lit these towers on, but we had to investigate what was weakening one of the lasers. There was a bunch of lawn mice biting the cable that we had to clear, and there was far more inside this tunnel here, but it was too dark inside. But Akisa had a torch, thankfully, so we could investigate further down. And as we got down further, Akisa discovered a scab that gives us different flavor for our scab units, if I remember it correctly. It's also part of the Steam achievements. There was also a blue rock here that I had no clue what it was for, since I couldn't break it. I needed a level 2 hammer for this. But now, we had to head back to the machine, since we cleared the mites from the cable.
It's a bee.
So now, we activated the device, and it was shooting a laser beam at us, but it seemed to have failed.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then it was directing us to head towards the oak tree now where it was exploding. Before we headed to the oak tree, Akisa was analyzing a bunch of resources, which gave me the next Steam achievement. But when I came home, I saw this ant club I wanted to make, but we were missing out on some red ant mandibles, so it must be something we're missing, clearly. Well, after looking around for the ant nest for a while, we came up with a new Giga Brain idea. We were just gonna follow this worker ant where he was walking, basically leading us to his home. I grabbed some raw science on the way as well. I was a little bit nervous going in closer since there were so many of these ants. We definitely got overwhelmed with them, but we managed to get the mandibles at least. When we were back home, Akisa analyzed the new resources we got and we unlocked the slurry and some bug rubber. I don't know what to use it for yet, but will probably come handy later. I made myself the new red ant club since it was a level 2 weapon and insane upgrade from my Stone Age spear. And I wanted to try it out on the red ants now to beat them with their own flesh. But they seemed kinda busy since they were having some sort of a town meeting from our raid expedition. They were cooking up some dodgy plans against us.
Oh my god! There's too many!
We were getting massively overwhelmed and getting closer to the end. But the club, however, is a massive upgrade. I really needed to make some fiber bandages, but we were lacking in sap. And the only way I know to heal right now is just to eat some food. At the start of day 3, I got my very first mutation and my third Steam achievement by just spearing this red ant. It gives me more damage to ants, more specifically 5% thanks to the wiki. So now, with our new clubs and a mutation, we were ready to head down into the anthill. But Akisa got cleaved by the ladybug, literally one tap. And the ant soldiers didn't give me any time to help Akisa at all, so she passed out. So after my tactical retreat, I wanted to grab some lunch, but Akisa had another idea, and that was to enter the anthill now when I was lacking on both water and food. Akisa found a lot of different things down there, along with some ant eggs, another burglar ship, and their food stash. I had to go and help Akisa to find her way out, and as I guided Akisa out of the anthill, I was getting a dangerous warning about my thirst and a timer, or else I would take the big L.
Don't even need to boil it.
Apparently the eggs Akisa brought back with her to our outpost started to hatch inside her pocket.
You get away from my food. That's my food.
Akisa analyzed a lot of the stuff she got from the ants, but the most intriguing thing was the brat burst, which was some sort of a bomb. But anyways, enough is enough. It was finally time for us to go and investigate the oak tree explosion. Akisa and I went down this cave down here, having no idea where this was leading, but there was a bunch of ants down here though. Akisa got stomped again, but this time from a red ant. Luckily, I was nearby to rescue her this time, but we soon ran into a stop here in this cave where we found a pair of soldier ants and I managed to knock out Akisa with my club instead.
Thanks for saving me.
And since we couldn't find an exit, we just had to go back out again. We found some breakable acorns outside the tree, no clue what they are for yet, but probably something important. But now, I finally found the goated item we've been needing for a very long time, a good chunk of tree sap. After being happy getting some sap, I wanted to see what was inside the tree and I was literally terrified about what I discovered.
No! I'm not going in there!
We could also use our Peep ability on the bugs as well to see what kind of type it was and their weakness, and as well grab their creature card, which is also one of my Steam achievements to complete for this challenge. But then we did the most questionable thing. We were gonna try fighting it, but it seemed to be asleep.
Oh, it's asleep.
Okay.
No!
Yeah, we got completely annihilated. Oh well, I had to run back to the tree and retrieve my bag of items, and then we continued looking for this explosion. Then we climbed up these twigs here and I raised some sort of a flag, but I just had no idea what it was for, to be honest. Akisa had also found the crash site and was waiting for me to catch up now. Then we entered the lab, not knowing what we were expecting. I looked around for a bit, while Akisa was researching some of the new items we had obtained. A little bit further in, I helped a robot standing up called BURGL, which awarded me with my 4th achievement. And then I had to listen to him introducing himself as a broken robot that literally had no memory of anything, kinda like me. Anyways, basically as a summary, he was just explaining that we got shrunk down by some sort of a laser beam and he might have a fix for us, helping us restore our size again. But we'll have to explore and retrieve these super ships and give them to BURGL that can be found in other labs, so there is gonna be a lot of more exploring for us to do. BURGL gave us access to a good variety of things now, like this ASL terminal, where there was a shop for us to buy recipes and quests we could pick up. I bought a recipe and I got my 5th achievement, making some good progress. Day 4, back at home, Akisa put down the smithing station, which is for upgrading weapons to make them more durable and more powerful. Okay, so Akisa wanted to venture down into this cave again because she wanted to see if we could find any more of those brittle stones that we used to upgrade our gear. We noticed there was a path up there, but there was just no way to get up there from here. But when we got out, we saw our very first larva and they were incredibly hostile, but we managed to get some larva stuff from them. Akisa grabbed some clay we had in his water puddle because we didn't have it collected yet, so that's more stuff for us to research. We also analyzed a few things to increase our brain power and see if we could get our hands on some nice tier 2 items. And after our trip, we thought we were gonna be able to upgrade any weapon, but we had only enough plating, but that was for upgrading the armor. And I wasn't really looking into upgrading the basic armor exactly. And towards the end of the day, we had the fireflies slowly creeping by our base that I started bonking. At the start of day 5, we went out together to look for and grab these grubs since we needed their hide to make new gear and such. But for today, we were gonna go look around to see if we could get our hands on some more of those brittle stones for the upgrades, but we weren't exactly sure where to get more of it. When I wandered a little bit, I stumbled into this bug that was farting all over the place, and I picked up some dandelion tufts, which can in fact act like the parachutes. This will be super helpful later on. But when I tried going inside this cave here, it was apparently blocked by a rock and could only be opened with a bomb. So we put it aside for now and continued exploring, where I found some thistle nearby and there was a lot of it also. But when we made it up here, Akisa found the bombardier beetle with the peak thingy and claimed us another creature card. I keep forgetting to do that in most of the video, at least this early. Granted, was already overwhelming for my skibidi brain. But anyways, we found a big lake here or something that we decided to explore a little bit, and there weren't too many things in this area except some water fleas and such. But now, we finally made it to the Hedge Ascent, and we just had to climb this tool here to make it up to the field station. I bought another recipe in the ASL terminal, and then we continued walking up these branches here since we still had to look for the actual Hedge Lab.
it's a blueberry.
Can we do something with it? Good job. Now it's down there.
I'll go down there and oh no!
But when I walked a little bit further, I found a zipline that led me to some sort of a lab where there was a guard or something waiting for me. I kinda got scared and I ran back out again since it didn't really feel like my place to be at right now. Okay, I actually grew some balls and I went back in there to fight him and I picked up another cassette band. And while I was doing all that, Akisa took a massive L to gravity again. But anyways, I turned the lever and a cutscene started which made the resource surveyor available to scan for items now. I just couldn't put my finger on how this actually works and I noticed it didn't have the brittle rocks here either way. But before we're gonna go back home, Akisa wanted some more of these berries. And like before, she fumbled and she fell down the branch, but luckily I had some of my dandelion puffs left so I could parachute myself down slowly. And when we got back home, we got some new stuff scanned and we got another recipe bought from the ASL terminal. Akisa wanted the fortifying base recipe so we could build more for the new base she planned on building. The next morning, I upgraded my pebblet hammer, thinking I should be able to break down those higher level brittle rocks now. Akisa had a new plan today and that was to check out the new location for the base, so we both ran over there. And when we got there, we found another cassette band to pick up that was rambling about how Professor Wendell needed to figure out how to make anything bigger again. So while I went down a dark cave to agitate some larvas, Akisa was just building the new base. I was getting a lot better at parrying bugs now. It took some time, but I think I'm getting used to it.
No! Larvae are aware of your presence. Well, of course they are.
Also, like I kept saying, I keep forgetting to peek at these bugs and collect their creature cards. But anyways, to go even further here, I needed a bomb for this next one. So with my upgraded hammer, it wasn't enough to bust through this brittle rock, and we haven't yet discovered a level 2 tool yet, so I guess we just have to keep searching. Basically, this was a waste of an upgrade if anything. While Akisa was building the new base, I was goofing off trying to parkour my way up this juice box to grab a scab scheme and some raw science. When I was browsing through the selection of armor types, I had a hard time deciding which set I wanted since my leaf armor was broken as hell. Akisa was dancing with the small spider following her, but she managed to escape and grab the creature card along with the weevil we missed. I just made myself some random armor as I could. It's gonna be so much better than wearing some leaves. We are not in the Stone Age, bruh. Let me at least get some better protection. I also got myself a bow and some arrows from the thistle I picked up, so I would be able to at least have a ranged weapon as an emergency. Apparently, the game will also notify you whenever you have arrows laying around that you can pick up. That's pretty neat. I got one of these water containers too, so I could have some water with me on my journeys. But today was a moving day for us. Akisa was already moving towards the new base with some of her stuff, but on her way there, she met the big orb weaver. And I was trying to fight Junior. He did insanely high poison damage to me and I almost passed out from its venom. The big one we just smacked together and got the quest done that gave us some more raw science. But anyways, a little bit later, I had a crazy idea. What if I bait one of these wolf spiders to me so he can fight the ladybug like how the bugs did on our first date? Nah, I took a big L instead from the spider. This ain't happening. Great. There's just no way, bruh. When I was back home feeling humiliated, I discovered we can make trinkets for our characters that gave us more damage. I got the one that gives me more arrow damage, while Akisa got the one that gives her more combo damage on her final hit. I also managed to unlock another mutation that gives me more damage with the club because my character is so muscular and strong now, technically a Giga Shad. But while I was out grabbing my bag and walking back home, Akisa was fighting a bunch of spiderlings and needed assistance. So I rushed towards her, but as soon as I arrived, she already dealt with them. Akisa went back to building the base and making good progress on the foundation of the base. I was gonna try moving some of the stuff over there to the new base since this can't be out here. I figured out I could just relocate objects like this across the map, quite handy when the box was full. On day 8, I had a mission today and that was to locate the Hedge Lab since we needed to do that to perhaps go into the next level of gear and progression. When I was on my way to the hedge, I stumbled upon this huge hot dog, but I couldn't harvest it yet since I was being reminded of a level 2 weapon.
There's a wolf spider there, waiting for me.
I think I saw the lab up here, but I went to check it out. I was severely disappointed. But at least I got another scab piece and some loot from the box. Maybe if I follow this big red cable, I'll find the lab. But when I got to the end here, I realized it didn't lead me to any lab at all, only a crap ton of larvas hanging out there. I went into a new kind of territory as well, where there was a lot of these orb weavers. But when I went to look for the lab, I found my first mixer that I pretty much started like a dumbass since I had no idea what it was for.
It's like an OSD or whatever. Oh no! 2 orb weavers! I can't fight that! I can't fight 2 orb weavers.
So basically, that was a total loss and needed to be repaired to continue. But as far as I know, there are a lot of these scattered across the map that I have to complete for the Steam achievement as well. We managed to find a cassette band with Wendell giving us some more info that he was feeling old from doing all of the science experiments. But somehow I managed to attract the stupid mosquito towards me, and he did insanely high damage to me and a little bit of mental damage to my brain.
Mosquito! Ow!
Mosquito! If only we had a bag of
Oh
walnuts
my
and pennies.
god.
The night was also upon us, so we needed to go to bed.
Maybe we should just make a little home here. Oh no.
Yeah, you make a home next to that orb weaver there.
And since the night was upon us, we decided to quickly make a bed and a campfire out here.
Doesn't go
On day
nowhere.
9, while
It's
we
not
were still
connected to
looking for the
anything.
Hedge Lab, we ran into this zip line over here, but it wasn't built yet, so we couldn't really use it.
Silk rope.
And we needed a spinning wheel to make the silk rope, which we didn't have yet. But anyways, when we went up this flying disc and cleared some spiders, there was some sort of a spider cave embedded in spiderweb all around, so I was curious to check it out, but it was not something I would have done with the conscience. Yeah, this room was freaky, and we definitely had the feel of it being a boss room, so we ran quickly out again. But finally, I started to see the actual lab, and I went on the zipline to it.
Ah, that's the lab. That's gotta be the lab, right? We finally here it. We finally found it. Whee! We found it. Wait, is that how my helmet looks like?
So we had this computer here, but we needed some kind of a password to access it, so we had to venture further into the lab to find it. I found a piece of the password, so I went back to the computer to type it in, but was severely disappointed. Because this was probably only a piece of it. Anyways, I finally found some combat inside the lab now, with the guards fighting a spider, and they were all quickly disposed of.
Oh, there's so much cheese here on the shelves.
Jeez.
Yeah, look at the cheese blocks here.
Here is the next part of the password, along with the scab scheme. But behind the lab, we found a mega milk molar, but we just couldn't break it since we needed a level 2 hammer. And down the zipline there was a broken milk molar, so we got our hands on our first one, but I have no idea what it was for yet. Now, finally, I got the last part of the puzzle, so it's time to head back to the computer.
A super chip.
Super ship.
We'll get
So with that accomplished, I finally got my 6th Steam achievement. Immediately the next day, we had a roaming spider literally outside our base that I fought with the help of Ikisa.
Ow!
But after getting rid of the big boy spider, I got nibbled until I was out.
What? Help! Akisa!
Oh well, I'm down.
Well, we can make an insect hammer now, Akisa. But we need a stink bug part and berry leather. I don't know what the stink bug is. And we don't have boiling glands. But we can make it.
So, I was gonna have to work on getting these new things so we can start farming for the tier 2 stuff. And while I was out looking for these beetles, Ikisa finally placed out one of the spinning wheels so we can start making some silk rope since we need it for a lot of things, like that zipline we saw. Anyways, I had this ladybug staring at me, and seeing as I forgot to do my Peekarino thing to get my creature card, it did give me a lot of important information about weaknesses, and apparently I had missed a workaround as well. After picking up a bunch of fiber and dropping them off home, Ikisa had made herself a better armor set so she could absorb damage better now. I wanted to get my spider fang dagger, but we needed stuff from a wolf spider to make it though, and I don't think we were anywhere near of taking that down yet. After Akisa got her armor settled, it was time to try taking down one of these ugly ladybugs. My bow wasn't doing much damage at all, so I decided to go Mortal Kombat against it, but she did so much damage to me and Akisa.
Ooh! Ooh! Nice! We got the head.
And now, with this ladybug head, I will be able to make the new level 2 axe, but I just needed to get some silk robe refined. I got some stuff analyzed as well, and I got some nice armor recipes. But anyways, towards the end of the day, I got the insect axe finally made. I upgraded my ant club as well, since it was my strongest weapon so far, and I tried figuring out how to use the survey function, but I still had no idea how this worked. Thereafter on day 11, we were by the tree again to grab all of the possible resources we could until I got mentally traumatized from a creature with too many legs. I literally shot as many arrows as I could on him with him crawling around in the most disgusting way, but my weapon was absolute garbage. I decided to Mortal Kombat him down instead to try putting him in his place, but I got easily humbled.
No!
Well, I tried my best, and I got humiliated from it. Akisa, on the other hand, was taking a swim in the pond, discovering algae and such, and grabbed the creature card from the koi fish living in this pond. Akisa was on a roll and grabbed a few more other creature cards. And then we got me. I was struggle bossing getting up on a simple branch. But anyways, we had to go back to BURGL to turn in the ship we got and check out this ASL terminal for these teeth. I could also finally open up a new room where there was a mega milk molar, but I just couldn't break it yet. So apparently the milk molars are for improving our characters, making them more buff. Well, we got some new recipes unlocked at least.
Oh, larva lasagna.
Akisa needed some help with some mosquitoes attacking her, so I ran over to help her, but I got seriously clapped.
Okay! Ah, yeah! What is this? No stealing? Oh my god!
I got some stuff researched when we got out of combat, and Akisa smacked the flower for his petals. But now, I might have figured out how to use the service station for once, so I just had to go out and see for myself.
Oh, wait. Is that it? I think I found it now.
But on day 12, we got a cutscene of a nightmare of what actually happened to us. So as soon as we faced back into the game, the larvas was back for some payback, but they were so easy to deal with at least. Afterwards, I went to look for a stink bug that I had tracked on the survey now, but I found something else instead.
Bombardino, crocodilo.
Okay, so this guy was just farting out toxic fumes that did an insane amount of damage. Quite annoying, but we got him.
Yeah!
I wanted to get an insect hammer to finally crush those teeth I've been seeing, but we didn't have enough of this berry leather and we were out of berries to make them. Well, before I could go out and grab some berries, Akisa wanted me to show where to get the weed stems so we can get our cookery up and running to make more advanced food. These all heal us and give us a few traits like damage increase and such. But Akisa wanted to go back to the old anthill to grab some billy hogs so she could try making some of this new discovered food. And once we made it there, Akisa grabbed us another creature card before we started smacking our way through. It wasn't stopping at all, so we literally just had to run for it. Akisa found some brittle rocks for us that she harvested so we can upgrade our gear. But finally, as we got further into the anthill, we found the ant queen.
There's the ant queen! Right in there!
We weren't really sure what to make out of it and we were prepared to give her hell. But apparently, we could give her some offerings like a juicy sandwich. I don't know what for, but we'll get there. So, this is also part of the challenge because we need to feed every ant queen that exists in this game.
Ah, look at this. Scab.
But finally, we found what we came here for. Or well, Akisa fell down into it. Now, we were on our way home after a long exploration, but I stopped by a mushroom to chop it down in case this is what we need for making the food for the ant queen. Well, after a little bit of googling, we apparently need an oven just to make the food for the ant queen, so we are pretty much far away from that still. And towards the end of the day, Akisa placed out this grinder here so we can recycle some of the logs into fiber and some slurries. At the start of day 13, I figured it might be best to upgrade some of my armor so I can mitigate some damage since everything was hurting at this point. But today was the time to head back to the hedge since Akisa wanted to check out the bill hog and I wanted berries. We met some exploded beetles on the way there we had to fight since we needed their parts to eventually make something useful from them that I don't know about yet.
Nice!
The billy hog was a little bit of a disappointment since most of it was either spoiled or rotten. Well, either way, time to get some berries. And the easiest way to get them down was just to shoot them with the bow. We spent the majority of the day just collecting a lot of berry chunks, but on our way back home, we found a feather from a crow we could harvest, so of course I grabbed it like the loot goblin I am. When we got back home, Akisa put down a jerky rack while I researched the feather since it gave me access to level 2 arrows now and a better ranged weapon. But now with the berry leather, I was finally able to make the level 2 insect hammer so I can smash those milk molars and such.
There we go.
But today was the day to visit the pond because we needed to retrieve the next super ship and this is where we figured out how to get it. Akisa was completely in love with the tadpoles.
Me too.
But here was my answer to them. While Akisa was swimming pretty deep, she got chased by a diving bell spider, so she didn't really pay attention to her oxygen timer. I managed to find a hatch here in the water to see if this was the way to the super ship, but it was locked. I am not really sure how we're supposed to get there. Like, there is this big stadium kind of a thing here, but I just don't know how to get in there. We kind of walked around to see if there was a different opening nearby on land, but then I spotted a bee and collected its creature card while Akisa was playing some sort of a game.
Oh.
But anyways, as we continued this way, I discovered the garden gnome unlocking the 7th Steam achievement. Afterwards, I just grabbed a couple of milk molars and ran out here without any thought in my mind, like how I usually do. Akisa found a secret tunnel we swam into where there was a key, but we needed a level 2 knife or something to get to it. We were basically trying to find a field station nearby just to unlock a respawn point, but we couldn't find any, so we put down a campfire and slept until day 15. Alright, Akisa and I found some strange and interesting bugs in this area now, like some black ants, and this is a roly-poly. I also managed to get up on the planks here, but I was taking some sort of a weird radiation damage up here, so I quickly jumped down.
Oh, what?
So, this blue circle was completely irradiated from visiting, so I had to stay away from it. We also stopped because we found a lot of these grubs hiding under the ground here.
That is not a grub!
You're right.
We'll go home. That is not a grub. Oh, radiation! Ow! Okay, so sometimes I wonder what goes on in your brain of yours.
Oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna bring. I could send it to you. Hold up.
Is that what goes on in your brain all the time?
Yeah.
Well, when we tried to go back home, we had 2 spiders preventing us from going back. They literally blocked us.
Yeah, I have no stamina. I was so hungry.
We were out again looking for bugs to get rid of, where Akisa got literally spawn camped by a stink bug. I went out the next day to try fight a lot of these ladybugs since I needed their parts to hook me up with some new tier 2 armor. And back home, while making my whole set of 2 tier armor, I got my 8th achievement.
Oh! Oh yeah!
I also placed down a chair, giving me another one.
Ah, perfect!
Then I needed to take a quick selfie for the next achievement, trying to get most of these out of the way. But when we were out looking for stink bugs to harvest, we found some fireflies instead, but in the middle of it, Akisa got obliterated by a big wolf spider. But it was just too much for both of us. Day 17, I found a stink bug that we were fighting and we took it down. And finally, back at home, I made a gas mask needed for going into the haze zone where we can get our 3rd super ship. The next day, Akisa's mic didn't work properly, so I found a way to mess with her. I bet you she got pretty pissed. But now, finally, it was time to go into the haze zone since she fixed her microphone.
Okay, gas mask on, because we're going into the zone.
Better safe than sorry.
Dun, 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 dun.
Feel a little less squishy now.
The bugs were really tanky here since they were infected variants.
What? What is that now?
You don't want to go down the hamster hole?
Oh my god, let's go. No, I do not. I see what's in there.
So the reason why we came here was because we needed to find one specific resource to make these bombs for exploding rocks. And we're gonna need a bomb to also blow this door open to the Hedge Lab. On our way back home, we found a hole in here with a few things inside, but this place belonged to someone.
Stuck in this web! Eureka!
Day 19, we were in the ant cave to just grab the eggs to make the bombs. I grabbed some mint also down in the cave.
Okay,
I made 3 bombs, Kisa.
And now we are back at the Hedge Lab. As we were going further down into the lab, we found a door being blocked by some sort of a minefield. So I managed to get through and inside this room where I pulled a lever and a recipe for the red ant queen. And then we continued going further down the lab until we got into this room where there was a boss in front of us and we couldn't leave either.
Oh, we can't even go backwards.
I didn't know what to do since Kisa got knocked down and then me.
I lost my
Entire inventory of loot.
On day 20, we were ready for round 2.
Oh my god!
Okay, 3rd time's the charm, as they used to say. We decided to stay in the room, which was a huge mistake, but I somehow survived with 0.1 HP. I went around these glass panels and avoided the bombs as best as I could, while Kisa was walking down to the boss room only to find out that the room was locked. Somehow I was doing it. The boss was less than half HP.
I got this.
And after a few more swings, the boss was defeated.
Yeah!
Then we got access into the last lab room and claimed the Hedge super ship so we could return it to BURGL. Before we went into the lab, Akisa grabbed some lily pad wax because we needed to analyze it. I unlocked something called a super duper machine, which is for duplicating resources or items at the cost of raw science. Akisa got a few recipes now from the science shop and infused herself with some milk molar power-ups. On day 21, we experienced another nightmare vision. But today, Akisa had done something really bad. She had taken my Pete character, so I was stuck playing Willow.
I'm a PETA.
That's my character!
Man.
So a little bit later, I was out hunting because we were out of food.
Oh! What a nice shot I did on that one.
So, when Akisa was home, she made a pebblet dagger that is used for underwater harvesting. And well, since I was waiting for Akisa to get ready to go to the pond lake, I was working on the next Steam achievement, which was doing 10 perfect blocks.
1, 2, 3, 4. No! 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10! Oh my god, I got the achievement!
The next one up would be to shoot a bug with an arrow from over 30 centimeters away. So hitting them from this far away was pretty difficult because they were all moving around so much.
Come on! I need a 30 centimeter achievement.
So finally, after a bunch of arrows, I got it.
Yes!
And back home, I made a crossbow to replace my old bow. I was really enjoying the crossbow since it shot almost like a gun.
Really?
But with this new weapon, I wanted to give it a try on this wolf spider.
I don't like that he walked up here! He can't go up on the leaf. Oh, he's going for a different approach! Oh no, he can!
I was basically just trying to cheese it as best as I could.
I'm having a heart attack here. 316! No, it wasn't enough. Okay, okay. Yes!
And with this wolf spider down, I finally got it and I claimed my next Steam achievement as well. With the stuff I got from the wolf spider, I could make a pretty cool weapon. And since I only had 2 of these venoms, I figured I could run over to the Oak lab to use the super duper to duplicate more venom. but it was rather expensive. Well, at least I got my next Steam achievement. Instead, I was looking over the Milk Molar power-ups and thinking that this is something I should really be focusing on. And before I left the lab, I got a few upgrades like a canteen upgrade and so I can scan for raw science. And towards the end of the day, I picked up another scab collar and got the 15th Steam achievement. The next day, I went inside this mint package and grabbed all of the mints since this will come to use at some point. But when I was down in the ant cave to grab some ant eggs, we were having a larva raid again.
Incoming payback larva?
So Akisa alone had to defend the base because I wasn't gonna make it in time back home. But now, I was back in the haste zone to get some creature cards from a Steam achievement, but I actually came out here to grab a gold milk molar, but I couldn't put my finger on where it was. And finally, I managed to find a gold molar down here. So this is a really nice thing about the game. Akisa will also get all of the milk molars I collect since it's shared across the party. So basically, Akisa will be able to pick them up too, which will count for me. At the start of day 24, Akisa was tired of all of the raids with the bug, so she started putting up some walls up around the base to protect it. My plan, however, was to go and collect up a bunch of milk molars so we can get stronger.
Barbarian mutation detected 3 out of 3.
So with that max mutation of Barbarian, I will do 25% more damage with clubs. But anyways, according to map, there are supposed to be milk molars inside the tree here, but there was some spiders.
I see it. I knew it! Good job! Oh my god! No!
Let's see what we can find.
Oh, since you left, does that mean it's safe now?
Okay, since I was in here, I was also gonna grab these brittle shards. And afterwards, I walked into the lab where I found another milk molar deep inside it. And then I also found a mega milk molar hiding inside the lab. So now I will have a few things to research. As I made my character a walking tank, I picked up some more side quests and went outside to search the area for more teeth. I feel like there was supposed to be more inside this underwater cave, but it was so dark inside and I couldn't find any air, so I drowned. So, with the new Mega Milk Molar upgrades on stack sizes, everything in the base got really condensed. Akisa came over to back me up with the torch and everything, but I was running out of oxygen pretty fast. And at this point, I was just pushing my stuff closer to the entrance because clearly I can't do the dive there. Akisa dove down to grab some eelgrass because we needed to get actual diving stuff. We're working towards the gill tube, which should give us more diving time. On day 25, Akisa made us the gill tube, so hopefully it will be enough time now. So now we just have to get over there. The gill tube actually gives us 80 seconds of air, so it's like double as much than before. Akisa figured out we should probably go back home and make the fin flops because we might swim faster with that. I went around the area for a bit and I grabbed another mega milk molar until I ran into a group of mosquitoes that shit on me.
Oh god! Ow, ow, ow! No!
The next day, we were both by the hedge again to grab as many berries as we could, so we didn't really have to come back here in a while. I went to pick up some milk molars in the area also, at least the ones that were easily spotted. I was also gonna try my luck to see if I could take down another wolf spider for its venom since I needed it for the dagger I wanted. But then I got ganged up.
No way! Why? One of them.
Now, this time, I only had one of them, but he was really tricky since he sometimes hit me through the leaf.
Oh my god.
On day 27, I was finally able to make this beloved spider fang dagger I've always wanted. The dagger was amazing and sliced the enemies really fast. Akisa also found an interesting function in this game where you can go into third-person mode.
Oh. Okay, I don't like it.
I had this liquid to drink also that gave me a little bit more oxygen. But after swimming for a while, we finally found the very thing we needed to harvest to craft our fin flop. And after Akisa explored a deeper part of the pond, she found a dinosaur down here. This was clearly a different part of the pond, and this is where we probably supposed to go. Kisa figured we could get the fin flops made first before we went back there again. And there we go, I got the fin flops made now for myself, so hopefully it will help out. The fin flops made a very big difference. But down here I found some sunken bones along with some koi fish scales. But this time we went further into the underwater area and made it to the actual pond lab. So we had this instrument on the wall with the lever, but it looked like we had to activate some switches for the power grid in order to make it activate. We couldn't continue walking into the lab since the door was locked. The door was probably locked because we needed to reset some breakers underwater. We managed to find a breaker, but I couldn't enter it, but Akisa found her way in, so she turned the switch. So that's one of them.
Let's see what we can
I activated the second one, and Akisa got the last one, so it was time to go up to the actual lab. We got another scab schemes behind this wall of clay as well. But now, we made it to the other part of the lab where there was a computer that didn't require a password, but it was something else.
Biodome auto mode.
We were kind of worried that there was gonna be a boss or something before we continued, so we made a tactical retreat first because I was fat with loot and I wanted to drop it off home first. Before we went back to the pond lab, Akisa was worried about any future raids as soon as we complete the pond lab, so she wanted to finish walling up the base. We had a little bit of trouble with the wolf spider getting the weed stems, but Akisa was able to block most of his attacks, which was just insane. I need to get the shield soon. Well, the pond lab wasn't going anywhere, so today I had decided to get myself the black ant parts to make myself a proper shield. I saw how good Akisa's shield blocked the wolf spider, and now I kinda want one for myself. The ants weren't super hard to handle and my dagger did pretty good on them. But after gathering a bunch of black ants, I think I farmed enough and the night was upon me. When I was on my way back home, Akisa was poking at this sickly roly-poly, but it was looking tough, so she kinda gave up. I had a different kind of problem because I fell into a hole here.
Oh no.
I was pretty scared since this was 100% a spider's nest and I hate spiders. They got too many legs.
Okay, so the path is being blocked by a spider. Okay, YOLO, we're going for it. I made it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
But when I was back home, I researched the black ant head and I finally got my 16th Steam achievement. Akisa had put up this new structure here where the webs catch water for us. It's very handy. Akisa had also given me a trinket called Deuce's Sign, which gives me 30% more movement speed for 3 seconds whenever I hit a spider with any weapon. It's definitely a good trinket for now since it was a level 3 one and will definitely help my chicken mood. I'm kinda like a chicken, I like to run. But anyways, I was gonna try taming a bug today since I watched a guide about it. I had my mushroom slurries ready and I kinda just dropped it in front of him.
Well, it's doing something. I'm not sure what it's doing.
Oh, there we go. Tame a pet. You can pet it.
You can pet it.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I want the next Weevil. I'm gonna call him Weevilton. Oh, no, not the Weevils!
But with that Weevil tamed, I got my 17th achievement done now. A bit later, Akisa was setting up a sap catcher near the oak tree that will passively generate sap for us to grab. But before I forget again, it's time to make that new black ant shield. So now I can use it in conjunction with my spider fang dagger, which will make this a strong setup since my dagger does poison damage as well. My plan for today was to see if I could collect a few more milk molars to get somewhat closer to accomplishing that achievement. Akisa was busy setting up a base defense, so I decided to do this then. I had some silk rope now for the zipline needing it since I think this will lead me to one of the milk molars. But before I could find out, I got literally ganged up by mosquitoes that were extremely annoying. I had a flag here too, so of course I grabbed that.
There's supposed to be milk molar up here. A golden one too. Oh, there it is, I see it. Okay, let's see if it gets discovered on the map, because I don't have it here now, I don't see it. Yeah, so the things I discover shows up on the map.
There were supposedly a few of them towards the lab here, so I looked around until I found them. I managed to find a gold one I missed by the lab. Good thing I went back here.
Then we'll go through the spiders here. Was another milk molar up there?
Nice. There is supposed to be one more here that I went for.
Oh, I see where it is. Okay.
But after grabbing that one, it was time to go back home. The next day, I was by a cave here where there was a wolf spider protecting another milk molar I needed. But I just couldn't make it in there since the spider is so hard to deal with. Akisa was nice enough to walk over and help me with it. And with her help, we took it down and I was able to claim some raw science and get my milk molar. Then a little bit later, I managed to find a mega milk molar underwater towards the field station that was inside the cave. I just had to use my spider dagger to get through this. And while I was doing all of the exploring for the milk molars and such, Akisa was basically just finishing up the place for the sap farm. I was starting to think that most of these milk molars could also be hiding inside underwater caves I haven't been to yet. Well, there was nothing much I can do about that, so I quickly stopped by an ASL terminal instead and I upgraded my character because I wanted to equip more mutations as well. But I paid attention to one of the quests also, which wanted me to place down one of those stuffed bugs in order to increase the drop rate of that individual one. I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea the stuffed bugs would increase your drop rate. In case I was out farming some weed stems and stumbled upon a milk molar for us that she grabbed. It's really handy when you have a second person doing this as well. So, there is also supposed to be an achievement when you collect 20 milk molars, and I felt like I had collected more than that, but apparently the gold ones don't count for that achievement. And by the end of the day, I put down a wall trophy of an orb weaver and that was really intense. I have no clue what it does yet. So today, we had decided to continue with the pond lab to finish it up. We felt prepared for it now in case there was an upcoming boss hiding inside, like the Hedge Lab. But to our surprise, there didn't seem to be any boss whatsoever. So I went up here instead and I found a disc for upgrading the Dupe machine along with the pond super ship. And picking it up made me get my 18th achievement. So with this, we had apparently opened up the dome and unlocked a lot of new doors to the lab. We went into this next access point here, but we needed an access card to get inside. I was still curious where the BURGL ship was, so I went around looking for it inside the lab, in case I was swimming outside looking for it there. I swam around for a bit until I came across a chest that probably holds the BURGL ship. Akisa knew of a spot we found the key, so I started swimming towards her until I swam a little bit too close to the koi fish. But after retrieving my gear and following Akisa out here to this pipe, we swam inside where we needed my spider fang dagger to slice through these weeds. But this was not the key we were looking for. So we went back to the pond lake again, where I got eaten by the koi fish a second time. Why? On day 35, we went to this cave we drowned in so many times because we think the key might be in here. I found a mega milk molar in here instead. And a little bit further in was a normal milk molar that I quickly collected as well. But swimming here for a while put Akisa at risk because her time was very short. She was trying her best to get rid of this diving bell spider to regain some oxygen, but it apparently hid from her, so she perished. Well, after that dramatic experience, I managed to find the actual way and we were so close for Akisa to regain her oxygen. So basically, this underwater path we took led us to the oak tree lab and there was no key in here. And after a little bit of searching on the web, we were supposed to go behind the lab here where it led us inside the cave. So further in, we found the key just laying there. And now with the key, I was able to open up the chest, which revealed another mega milk molar along with the BURGL ship. I got the ship turned in, which gave us a little bit more of raw science along with a piece of embiggening cocktail recipe. But it was not enough for the entire thing. I got a few new recipes unlocked now though, but I chose to save the points. On day 36, we had another nightmare cutscene showing the director Schmechter that he was an extreme and unstable person who wanted to prepare us for termination. He was basically the person experimenting on us. But now, I put down a stuffed bug for the quest and it was frightening. So, when you touch both of them, you get an increased drop rate against the creature and more damage. Kisa wanted to tame herself an aphid and she had already laid the food all over the place.
Yeah, that's right. You eat that, Leafy.
Look at him eating it.
Oh yeah, he's so nom.
Oh, what am I doing? Oh my god! I dropped a bomb in the base! I was supposed to drink water. I pressed the wrong thing.
On day 37, I found myself in deep trouble when I had a freaking blitzkrieg of mosquitoes shitting on me from the air and a literal tank on the ground.
Oh my god! Why is there so much things here? Ah, the mosquitoes are stuck. Jesus! I need Jesus! Help!
Then a little bit later, we took down some bees and I managed to get our first bee stinger.
I got the bee stinger! The first one! Oh yes!
But right now, it was time to advance into the other part of the garden, so we walked up this wall here to get to the second level of it. And as soon as we got up, Akisa grabbed the creature card from this roly-poly. We made it up to a grill here where we saw a new type of a larva. My weapon was incredibly weak towards it and it was capable of making my temperature go up, so I was basically just barbecuing. Ow! I found also another mega milk molar, while Akisa was struggle buzzing against another larva. There were some pretty warm places here too, which literally cooked us. So we decided to walk around this minefield instead. Kisa put herself at risk when she was farming this charcoal that will be needed for an oven. On day 38, I wanted to give it a try to see if I could take on this roly-poly, but it didn't really go as expected. So after a little bit of walking, we found a tunnel that led to a massive cave filled with these stupid ladybird larvae. There was so much loot in here, even a milk molar. So after farming a little bit of rocks, I tried going for Kisa next, but they had me cornered. No! We tried for a second time to clear this cave because we wanted all of the quartzite rocks and such so we can upgrade our weapons even further. There was even a pathway here, but we needed a level 3 tool to open this up, so we had to go a different route.
That's 3, that's 4, that's 5. Kisa, I'm running.
As soon as we got out, I had this ladybird mama being extremely hostile towards me, and I didn't really feel like trying to fight it right now. But when we got home, I saw that we now have access to level 3 axe now, but we still haven't found any termites. Akisa started placing down an oven now, but we were missing on boiling glands for it. But while we were just simmering down from our expedition, we suddenly got a raid of larvas again.
I'm innocent. We already know I'm innocent. It wasn't me.
And towards the end of the day, we had finally unlocked zip lines so Akisa could put down 2 of these in preparation. So today we were gonna set up the zip lines to get up easier to the other backyard. So it might be a good thing to think about making a tower in our base so we can set up zip lines to go all across the map. But now finally the zip line is all set up, but sadly it didn't go both ways. Well, at least I got my 19th Steam achievement. And now it was time to aim from the milk molars. I managed to find 2 down here in the pit that I quickly grabbed and I skedaddled quickly out of here. The haze zone was all scary still. I didn't get nearly as many as I wanted for today since I needed 1 more milk molar to get the max mutation slots.
Oh, I need 1 more!
On day 40, Akisa had prepared a lot of pallets because she was gonna try making the tower now. I just had to farm up a little bit of grass for her so she could build. And since Akisa was gonna build the tower, I wanted to continue on the milk molar collecting where I found one on top of a cable, but I just couldn't access it. Okay, so I had to do a little bit of parkour just to get up on the juice box, but I worked my way super carefully.
Oh.
On day 41, I went up here again because I was looking for a milk molar nearby, but I was having difficulties with these mosquitoes.
No! What happened there? No!
And here we go, I found a mega milk molar at least out here. And the next milk molar I wanted was being guarded by a freaking wolf spider that I still can't solo. But I was pretty sneaky so I could grab it. And aside from me grinding these molars, Akisa made a pretty good progress on building the zipline tower. So, after swimming under a couple of trash bags here, there was another milk molar inside this broken soda can that I grabbed. And in this garbage area, I met the new bug that was quickly disposed of and I grabbed its creature card because I seem to forget that usually. Also found my first spice candy here that I grabbed. That will be used for a multitude of recipes. And then a gold tooth behind some garbage for some reason. There were supposedly more in this area here, but I just couldn't find them. I also managed to get myself splattered and it was getting late, so I just ran back home without my loot. So, if you guys haven't played Grounded, I just must let you know, but nighttime in this game is extremely dangerous. It's extremely dangerous for people with arachnophobia. On day 42, I ran up this branch that was pretty far up in the air where I could almost see the entire backyard. While walking back towards my loot bag, I found this chewing gum, but I just couldn't harvest it since I needed to make a level 2 shovel. I don't think we have discovered it yet. But when I got to my bag of items, I found a milk molar behind this package here. But now, it all made sense why I couldn't find the rest of the teeth. It must be inside this black ant cave. I got some of these black soldier ants eviscerated, which gave me some mandibles that I haven't yet analyzed. So finally, we're making some good progress. But as I've said many times, I keep forgetting to scan these stupid bugs.
Oh, what is this? I found a lab!
Then a bit further into the cave, I found a rock blocking the path towards one of the teeth that I broke through. And for some reason, the teeth I have collected so far wasn't enough for the Milk Molar Steam achievement. But before we wanted to continue on the Black Ant Lab, I wanted to prepare a little bit more, so I was back home and I powered up my character a little bit more. Akisa had now finally finished the tower and put up the zipline anchor that somehow connect to the other one by the pond. We didn't really have enough silk robe and it wasn't crafting it fast enough, so Akisa had to put down a few extras just to speed up the process a little bit. The next day, I went to quickly complete one of my quests where I had to eliminate 5 of these gnats. But now, the zipline was up and running and we could finally use it. We did run into an issue with the zipline getting too close to the grass, so we had to build a few foundations to prevent the grass from growing here again. But now, it was time to head towards the Black Ant Lab since I finally found it. And before we went over there, we went down this pipeline because I had another Mega Milk Molar to collect.
I've certainly found the black ants, man.
Akisa also put up a sign here, so we know which way to go to get to the Black Ant's nest. But before we went into the lab, I wanted to quickly sleep since the night was upon us and set it as a respawn point in case we somehow go into the afterlife. The next day, we felt swamped with the ants, so we did a tactical retreat for now to the other section of this lab. We got blocked by a big boulder here that Akisa got rid of with the bomb so we could go into the lab. And after walking around for a while, we went through an A door that led us to a lab on a lower level, but I could definitely feel like this was leading us somewhere bad. Oh, it's just the computer that unlocked the doors to the B restriction.
Bomba! Bomba here! Mike, come back. Bring the Bomba.
There wasn't anything special in here except this Mega Milk Molar that we grabbed. I also managed to find a second Gold Milk Molar a little bit further down. And after grabbing it, I flicked the switch and had to break open a glass window here. But as soon as Akisa accessed the computer, the assistant manager boss spawned in.
Okay, I need to fix my mutation.
I have the wrong one, I think.
Oh! Maybe I shouldn't mess with my mutation. Oh! Oh, I gotta jump here. Woo! Ow!
Those laser beams were so hard to avoid, but they didn't really do that much damage. But this was definitely a very cool boss fight and fun. The boss kinda went into phase 2 or something since the towers he activated spread electricity in the field and he activated the laser beam as well. Akisa's main weapon was looking rough for this fight, and then it suddenly broke. So I finished the boss with my club and got the assistant manager access card along with the new mutation that will unleash a powerful burst of electricity. But after defeating the boss and walking into the rest of the lab, I found the Black Ant Hill super ship and I got my 20th Steam achievement. So we're almost halfway there with it now. But after completing the Ant Hill lab, I went up to this canister since it was puking out a dangerous gas. I was curious to see what was up here and it was just a flag to grab. But anyways, this gas canister is also part of the Steam achievement where you need to plug the hole. But as soon as I do that, all of those infected bugs we've seen will be all over the yard, so it comes at a great risk. And I didn't really want to do it just yet because I want to work on other things before I do that. Anyways, I stopped by BURGL to turn in the ship, but this was still not enough to make the embiggening cocktail to restore us to the normal size. Now when we turn in the new ship, we unlocked a lot of new important recipes for upgrading our gear. I was also able to get into this locked room now with the key card, and I picked up this new zipper thing, but I just couldn't find any information about what it was for, so I kinda just ignored it. On day 45, we got another nightmare cutscene showing some of the scientists that were possibly the ones saving us from total destruction. And as soon as we got out of the cutscene, Akisa put down a mushroom wall that gave me my 21st achievement as well. That's pretty easy. But for today, I wanted to feed this red ant queen, so I crafted the juicy sandwich for her. I also placed down this glue masher, which will be for repairing some of our weapons and armor later on. But now, I was at the queen ant and I offered the well-deserved sandwich she wanted, and I was rewarded with the baby ant.
New pet baby ants. Oh my god, look what I have. Oh my god, they're blocking the way. Baby ant. Oh, I can carry so much. Oh.
So, with me getting new pet, the game kinda just left my weevil pet over by the anthill. Well, that's his new home. On day 46, I was by the oak tree because there was a milk molar that a wolf spider was protecting. I have been looking for this one for days. I can't believe I missed it so many times. But yeah, I managed to take it down without any fuss, but now I think I managed to get all of them by the oak tree finally.
Nice job.
And before we were off to get to the sheriff, Akisa wanted to build a staircase up to these different lawns, so we didn't really have to walk all over the place just to get up there. On day 47, I was gonna take on this roly-poly, but I had to be extra careful and check for his weaknesses. It seemed like my ant club would be the best for this. The roly-poly also heals when it curls up into a ball. That's super inconvenient, considering our weapons are pretty strong. We decided to take on this ladybird as well, since it was just here. It wasn't too bad at all, to be honest, compared to the roly-poly. But either way, it was time to head back up on the porch to get to the chair, where we found ourselves walking up on a bike here.
Well, this is the chair right here.
But once we got up on the porch, I found some dust mites and a lint clump that I couldn't harvest at all. But we made it to Wendell's scab, but there was a big problem.
Oh my god, we can't actually do it.
We literally need a level 3 hammer to continue with the storyline, so I guess that this will be our next step to work towards. There were also some toenails in this bowl here, but it required a level 3 hammer as well.
I mean, we have the termite axe, but we don't have any hammer.
Then a little bit further, I went up on this hose that led me inside the pot for a mantis boss fight that had to be summoned. That doesn't bode well. Akisa and I traveled pretty far on the porch here to see if there was something new for us to discover, but I didn't really see anything cool up here except some wolf spiders and mosquitoes. Akisa grabbed some spicy candy while I was dealing with another mosquito. There was, however, a suspicious cave right here that was curious to explore, and once I went down, I discovered the termites. I got scared and I ran over to Akisa since she was trying to get the mega milk molar by the baseball. The termites were weak to salty weapons and stabbing, but we didn't really have any of those. We suddenly had a termite soldier fighting us as well. That was super tanky. They were also capable of shooting bombs at us, but it didn't seem to do too much damage. And before I forget it, the creature card. Akisa found a milk molar deep inside the termite nest while I was struggling to find my way to Akisa. And while we were running back home to sleep for the day, Akisa found a new resource, salt on a spork. This will definitely come to use. At the start of day 48, I powered up myself with the milk molars, making myself stronger, and rewarded me with my 22nd Steam achievement. Akisa made herself the black ant shovel since it was a level 2 and would definitely help her getting some of the higher tier stuff now. I, on the other hand, made myself the termite axe, so now I can finally harvest the level 3 stuff. And with that axe crafted, I got my 23rd Steam achievement. We still didn't have the level 3 hammer yet, and I have no idea what we needed to analyze to unlock it. But either way, I had to go up and harvest crow feathers so Akisa could also have a level 3 axe. And while I was doing that, Akisa got some use in her new shovel, grabbing some of this chewed gum. And then, a little bit later, Akisa found something on the crafting menu she made and put it on her aphid. She also gave it a ridiculous name.
Okay.
The next day started with me being up by the porch and grabbing a milk molar underneath it, which then led to me fighting this roly-poly next to me since we needed its beautiful stuff it could give me. Akisa was down by the larva cave and grabbing all of the rocks for upgrades, but this felt like such a bad idea since there was literally an army of them down here.
Oh my god, I have no health. I'm not doing any damage to
Many
this
all
guy.
at once.
I was then back home upgrading my armor, then trying to decide what kind of enhancement I wanted. One of them gives me more tankiness and the other one gives me more healing, so I decided to mix it up. But thanks to Akisa's stupid exploration in the larva cave, I had an invasion set up for me in the base and Akisa had no way of getting back here in time, so it was just me left alone with these sizzling larvas.
Oh! What? They're broken in!
Phew. I managed to defend the base despite almost perishing to them. And after Akisa was done with the larva cave, she ran into fire worker ants suddenly out there and they were really strong. Today, Akisa and I were gonna go look for the fire ant nest since she found a worker ant outside roaming. But we were kinda confused about one thing, because what we were looking for was the antlion part and we haven't discovered who drops it yet. We're gonna have to start doing these mixars as well since it's part of the challenge. And not too far away, I went inside the blocked pipe where it was then blocked by a boulder underwater. I couldn't use my explosives underwater, so I tried throwing it instead. There was a lot of these stones here, but sadly we couldn't break the Supreme at all. But once we got out of the pipe, we ran into a freaking beast.
What is that?
No.
Black Ox Beetle! Okay, we'll try, I guess. Oh, it has so much health!
So after we ganged up on him, we got our very first Black Ox defeated, and he was super tanky. So we got up on the porch and finally were able to harvest these lint clumps. Hopefully that is the one thing we need to make the level 3 hammer. I can't believe it, but Akisa found the field station we've been looking for this whole time.
Please make it across. I didn't make it across.
And now we also unlocked the level 3 hammer, so basically all we had to do was to get rid of a black ox. I harvested some splinters while Akisa worked her way up here now, but we had to head back home very soon since Akisa's weapon was completely broken. So back home I researched a few of the things we got and I unlocked a few new cool recipes. On day 51 I was ready to make the new level 3 hammer, but we didn't have enough black ox parts and we were missing this pupa leather also. I haven't even discovered that, so I was on a mission to grab these parts, while Akisa was on the pond to grab some of the stuff from there.
It should be down here. Yeah, it's down there.
Oh my god! I wasn't prepared for that.
But he wasn't too hard to deal with and I took care of him alone.
Oh, what is this? Looks like spice.
Buried treasure?
There was also another black ox beetle here that I will have to take down in just a second, since I just want to eat something first.
Taking a look. Mark that one off the list.
What a scarab. Oh, found something new.
Oh, fun poopa!
And since I was gonna be here for a while, I might as well put down a little outpost here. But after feeling a little bit refreshed and energized, I went to my big friend, the big boy beetle. The next day, I found a golden tooth hiding behind a spider I quickly deleted. But after a little bit later, I met up with Akisa who was trying to get up to this spot just to get some raw science, so she built a staircase while I just did some parkour.
I did all that work to get that.
Just because of that, Akisa wanted me to help her get some charcoal now, but this place was just too warm. We need to find these antlions soon, so we can make the fireproofing gear. Akisa figured we should try going over to the sandbox to see if they were hiding over there. We were gonna need a staircase to go up there too, because we didn't know of any entrances to the sandbox. But after a little while, it was finally done and we can go up to the sandbox.
And I can look for teeth. Oh, there should be a missing BURGL chip here that gives us more recipes.
But this right here was the very bug we needed. They really seem to like the sand. Ooh. The Antlions didn't seem to take too much damage from our weapons, so we really need to get new weapons soon. There was also this Antlion that was buried in a hole that kept throwing stuff at us, but it surely was stronger than the other ones we encountered so far.
There's a cave here.
While Akisa was dealing with the Antlions, I quickly grabbed the Mega Milk Molar. On day 53, we were still in the sandbox since we needed to do a little bit of exploring. But down this tunnel, we found a lot of these spicy candies. There was one funny thing about this area during the sun. It was scorching hot, so I could literally feel my body cooking itself in the sun. But we took shelter inside the lab here from the scorching sun. Anyways, while I was simmering down in the warm water from the sun, Akisa found the field station and started analyzing some of the new stuff we found so far. I also managed to find the chest behind the castle, but I needed a melted moat key for it. So after a little bit of internet searching, I ran over to the area where it was supposed to be found, but I had to wait for 15:30 to be able to grab it from the sand. But after waiting for a while and being patient, I saw the moment and I grabbed the key.
What is that? It's a recipe for something. Salt Morningstar.
We decided to walk over to the castle, but that proved to be a little bit more challenging because there were so many of these sand rats. So after circling around the castle here for a little bit, I couldn't see anything super special here, so I decided to go back home now instead because I was fat. The next day started with Akisa making the new Antlion armor set to protect herself from all the sizzling. I saw the new Salt Morningstar weapon, but we weren't capable of making any salt globs yet. So I made the sizzling armor now as well, but I couldn't make the level 3 hammer yet because we needed the pupa hide to dry out on the racket first to make it into leather. So the new Antlion armor was incredibly good at mitigating damage from enemies now. So with our new armor, we went back here again to pick up some coal chunks. The only difference now is that it takes longer for it to go up. We basically had to go back here because we needed more of this pupa hide to turn into leather. After farming up as much pupa hide as we could find, a black ox beetle and then its cousin showed up and we quickly took care of it. And by the end of day 54, we found ourselves in the sandbox again fighting Antlions and gathering up a lot of this salt cluster here. So into the early night of day 55, we were by the castle again and I was in deep trouble since I was fighting 3 of these guys. But when Akisa was gonna try to revive me, she also lost the fight. So when they group up like this, they become very annoying to deal with. But a little bit later, we were working on walking up towards the tower and I just realized that I could carry 20 of these planks now. There was a milk molar up here along with the flag we needed for the side quest. But I think we've been here long enough and it was time to move on. So finally back home, I started by cooking up the level 3 hammer I've been wanting for a while since we needed to proceed with the main storyline and other stuff. I also upgraded my armor since I was struggling a little bit against those Antlions, and surely every creature we're gonna face next is gonna be stronger than those. And before I forgot it, I crafted some splint arrows and got my 24th Steam achievement. That's all I had to do for it. So a little bit later, I went back down into the pond lab because I needed something called the muscle sprout that was for one of the next achievements. While I was doing that, Akisa was working on a new staircase that led to the bees. Okay, I don't know how we missed it this badly, but apparently the muscle sprouts grew all in a circle inside the lab. After I was done with that, I went to BURGL to turn in my ship I found in the sandbox to unlock a few new recipes in the ASL terminal we actually needed. These were the globs we needed so we can make the spicy and salty weapons and such. So if you haven't paid attention, we never really played during the night because they were said to be very dangerous, but now we're kinda more geared towards the night so we can handle it better. The wolf spider was getting a little bit too close to comfort for me and that kinda freaked me out. I decided to brawl it out with him, but then I suddenly had 2 of them attacking me. I lost the fight, but I went back for round 2. But anyways, I went over to Akisa since she had almost finished building the staircase to the picnic table, and I also had to see these bees sleeping. We never got to see them because we kinda always went to bed during the night. Akisa had built this long staircase, but we needed to build a little bit more just to get up on the other part. But now, we finally made it up here. And before I forgot, I had to look up the milk molars on the map here.
Fuel station. There's a zip line.
But yeah, I went inside the labyrinth now and I looked around for a little bit until I found a big chest requiring the Minotaur key we already had. There was a Mega Milk Molar along with the BURGL ship here too. And once we were done up here, we jumped down because there was a Mega Milk Molar hiding inside this chewed gum. And since we both had the level 3 hammer, it was time to head back to Wendell's scab. So back at the shed, we were finally able to grab some sour candy along with some toenails. And here we go.
Oh, perfect.
So after listening to Dr. Wendell's old recording, we were instructed to head below the shed. We had to walk pretty far just to get to the entrance, but once we got there, we found ourselves in a big dark place that was slightly creepy. There was so much for us to explore as well down here, but we just kept following these pipes here. The pipe was even open, so I went into it to see if I could find anything good down here. And I did, since there was a Mega Milk Molar inside. Akisa also just realized that this place was so much more bigger than we thought since it went downwards also.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was also slightly annoying getting over to where Akisa was since I had to carefully parkour my way over there.
What is that? That's a Black Widow.
So, to get to Wendell's lab, we had to somehow get through this creepy spider cave where there was a freaking Black Widow blocking the path.
So, women first, right?
So this next day, we were gonna give this Black Widow an honest try. This Black Widow was attacking me with a flurry of attacks and I couldn't keep myself up at all. This was horrible. And as soon as we both took an L from the Black Widow, the game put us on the literal opposite of the shed, so we had to run pretty far just to get back. And when we got back to the shed, I went for a tooth I spotted from before, and Akisa found the field station that was in this place. I managed to get my loot back from the boss, but that poison damage really wasn't kidding. We had a problem too, because I couldn't really figure out how we were supposed to get out of here, and I couldn't fight the Black Widow at all, so, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, the path to the lab is behind the Black Widow, but how are we supposed to get there? Akisa was gonna try walking around the Black Widow, but she got webbed and she passed away. Unfortunately, the field station to the termites was so close to the Black Widow, so every time we spawned, we ended up there. Akisa went for a second try, and she luckily got her backpack with the items, and were able to sneak past the Black Widow up to the lab. I couldn't believe my eyes. I can't believe she actually did that. So when I tried, I successfully were able to sneak past too. So we did make it to the lab without taking any losses, so I guess you don't really have to fight the Black Widow.
Oh, a bed. Saddest respawn point.
So having Akisa getting knocked out so many times, I managed to get a level 3 on my reliable friend mutation, so reviving her now is gonna be extremely fast. But anyways, as we went further into the lab, we realized that we couldn't continue any further since there was a big humanoid inside waiting for us. And seeing as we couldn't defeat the Black Widow, I expected this to be a lot harder, so I wasn't even gonna try. I managed to get the data on him, and his weaknesses were fresh, stabbing and slashing, and we have neither of those. So we need to go back home and work on getting better weaponry. At least I managed to find a way back up now. I just had to walk on these branches a little bit carefully to get up. The next day I started cooking up some salt globs so we can have 2 of those salt morning stars since it was a level 3 weapon and we were still using level 2.
Let's make our first level 3 weapon, and I'm making 2 of them.
I even upgraded both of the weapons because we had a plan for today. Akisa was out preparing a mixer by placing down a lot of walls since we were gonna try this out today. So basically, we will have to defend the mixer from a lot of these bugs that are gonna come for it. All we have to do is just to hold out until the bar on the top had been fully filled out. And now when we're trying out the new weapons, the morning star was just freaking incredible. As soon as we completed it, we were awarded some raw science along with a new mutation called the guard dog that gives us more damage in these events. So by the end of the day, we went over to the other mixer I failed by the hedge. So unfortunately for day 59, I don't have the recording from my POV because my PC crashed on this day. It must have been from experiencing too much lag. This wasn't too bad at all and it was time to move on to the next mixer. The next mixer was by the haze zone that Akisa put up a big wall for. The most difficult creatures we had to fight were the ladybugs. I let Akisa take care of the small ones while I deal with her. But this one wasn't too bad honestly, and we didn't even get a scratch on the mixer. And the next one we were doing was by the sandbox. I just remembered that I was gathering up some stuff nearby while Akisa was building the walls.
What are you doing with the bee? Are you playing with the bee?
You're just hanging out.
These mixers were not difficult at all to deal with, especially with our weapons that were so strong against them. On day 60, we were finally back to my POV. We had already prepared for this next mixer, which is a little bit more complicated since it will also summon mosquitoes to attack. This one was definitely a little bit more challenging aside from the other ones. But finally, we completed it without any issues. I can't lie, but this was tough.
Okay, so these are all the mixers. The only thing left are 3 super mixers.
Oh. Alright, when we were back home, I made 5 of these different smoothies with the mussel sprout as an ingredient because I needed it for one of my achievements. I just had to drink all 5 of these to get my achievement. And there we go. That will be 25 Steam achievements out of 45. Before we're heading out again, I made a little bit more of this repair residue since our armor and weapon seems to break pretty easily. We went up here again to see if there was something we missed, and that was just this mint candy. But a bit later into the day, I actually ran into Wasp out here. This Wasp drone seemed a little bit more stronger than a normal one, and then there was this tiger mosquito as well. I felt very overwhelmed. The Wasp drone was really strong and was annoyingly healing itself all the time. We were pretty far up north on day 61, farming some of these new resources. The plan was just to explore for a little bit to see what else remains up here. We did, however, manage to find a wasp nest, and there were a lot of these wasps that almost ended me. After finishing up the spot there and exploring, we went to analyze some of the new things where we unlocked a bigger chest and something called a waspidote. So when we got back home, Akisa upgraded her tiger mosquito into a spicy weapon. We needed it for the Black Widow boss fight, I think, so that's why she went for it. I placed a turret on the roof since it was part of the side quest and I was curious how good it was. It was rather clunky, so we're probably not gonna use it at all. So a little bit later, I went by BURGL to turn in the ships we had found so far since I kinda forgot about those. And with that, I managed to unlock the mint mace now, which was the weapon I wanted to make for myself. Akisa already had a spicy weapon, but I wanted this. I also got this milk molar scanner thing. I hope it works as intended. Anyways, Akisa made me some mint globes back home so I could make my mint mace. And she also put down this fresh storage box here too that preserves food so they don't really spoil. After waiting for a while, my mint globes were done and I could make my mint mace. And now was the perfect time to try out my new weapon. It literally melted that wolf spider down. This is just an insane weapon. So today I went back into the black ant's nest to look for the queen because Akisa needed to upgrade her shit aphid that couldn't carry anything to an ant. And as I got deeper down, I found her and she wanted a yummy gum sandwich. It's a good thing I came down here because I almost missed another milk molar down here. So I was basically just exploring and looking for milk molars at this point. Akisa, however, was starting to build a new base because we wanted the base to be a little bit more elevated so we could traverse on the zip lines all across the map easier. I quickly ran over to the sandbox because there was a hidden tooth behind the sandbox. And here's one unfortunate thing. Do you guys remember the staircase we built up to get to the sandbox on day 52? Yeah, there was apparently a way that led to the sandbox from the Black Ant lab. We also set up a zipline that led us back to our old base so we didn't have to walk from there now. On day 63, we were by the grill again because there was a unique weapon I wanted to get. But before we went there, I wanted to grab a Mega Milk Molar. I found the entrance to the weapon and all I had to do was just to touch it. This started an event and what we have to do is to defend the sword and it will be mine. My mint mace did quick work on this sizzling larva since it was the weapon. But after 3 minutes of defending it, we got it. So after being home and sorting stuff, I suddenly had an invasion of tiger mosquitoes attacking the base. They were so much more stronger than the normal ones and could tank my weapon pretty well. Before this day was over, it was time to feed the Black Ant Queen the food she wanted, so Akisa could have her own ant pet. So as soon as she was satisfied, Akisa got her own baby Black Ant that will give Akisa 50% more damage resistance. So the ants have their own kind of abilities you can have, where my red ant gives me more hauling strength so I can carry more planks and stuff. Akisa also wanted us to have an easier way to get up towards the picnic table, so she put up a zipline anchor, but the one we had back home was being blocked for some reason. So on day 64, Akisa moved the zipline anchor a little bit and then we were ready. So a little bit later, I was working on building an improvised staircase to get up on the other floor level here. The only reason I did that is because I wanted to get to the milk molar up here on the cable. I had to get back up there again and start building a bridge over there since there was a scab scheme on top of it I missed. Okay, so I was confused how many things I had left to collect, so as a summary, I have collected 58 milk molars and 22 scab flavors so far. And for the 100% report card, I need to collect 123 milk molars, megas are included, and 51 scab flavors. So, I was pretty far off from what I was missing. There's a lot of other things for the 100% report card, but it's too long of a list for me to say. But anyways, I want to continue collecting these things where my next scab was in the worst place possible. Well, after a little careful positioning and parkour, I got up to it. The next one wasn't too bad to grab since it was next to the lab. And as I went to continue on to the next, I found a tooth super far up on a branch here that was really sketchy to get to. Then I walked up this branch here to get into a room where there was a scab unit along with some raw science and a note. So the next tooth I wanted to grab was in a more elevated area where I had to build a staircase up to. But when I got to where the next tooth was supposed to be, I wasn't happy.
I don't like the sound of whatever I'm hearing.
I definitely don't like the sound of what I'm hearing.
Oh.
There was however another tooth here, but I was gonna have to fight these two black ox beetles if I wanted it. They didn't really give me a chance to sneakily snag the tooth, and luckily my mint mace was the weapon and destroyed both of them quite fast, so getting the tooth felt more rewarding now. Getting over to this area is gonna be useful as well, so I placed down this blueprint for the zipline anchor for now. But when I arrived home, I noticed that some of our things were missing here, and that's because Akisa had started moving a bit of the base to the new one. I was back at the zipline now, and I just had to wait for Akisa to adjust to the zipline for this one now. On day 66, my quest continued by finding these milk molars and scabs. I was on the lookout for an underwater cave, but I just couldn't find it. But after a little bit, I found a cave for the scab and a new mutation that gives me more crit hit chance. Anyways, with our new weapons we had, we were gonna try getting rid of this Black Widow so we can unlock some new cool things. But the poison damage was just too much for me, so we decided to wait until we can figure out what we're doing wrong. Well, for today, I was gonna try getting things moving to the new base Akisa had built. But yeah, this old base was getting stripped to the bone kinda. We also figured out that we could label these boxes too that will help out a lot. But towards the end of the day, we got raided by larvae, so I had to quickly skedaddle back home and help Akisa because she was having a hard time with them. In day 68, I was outside exploring for a little bit while Akisa was building the base back home. I was really enjoying my mint mace since it was so strong. The reason I came out here is because there was supposed to be golden tooth and a scab piece down here. The cave was also filled with a lot of quartzite rocks, which is good because we didn't really have that much back home. And there we go, the scab scheme. The next tooth I found by the canyon here that I've ran past so many times. And after I grabbed it from the canyon, I ran over to the one by the bike, but I just couldn't find a way up there. I tried parachuting over there, but I don't think this would even help. Actually, I'm wrong. I think I was really meant to climb this. Alright, that's another tooth for the collection. The next one I was going for was by the termites. I never actually realized you could walk underneath here, but here we go. Thereafter, I went down into the termite cave again, since I believed there was supposed to be another tooth or something down here. I just had to go through these splinters here, but then I saw something that made me leave.
What is that? Termite King?
There was just too many of these termites down here, so I definitely ran as fast as I could out of here. I will just have to come back later with Akisa. And by the end of the day, Akisa had made a pretty big progress on the base, but I didn't like her aphid statue though.
Oh, hey, don't do that.
Today is day 69, and we're gonna go towards the monkey face to see if you could take down the Black Widow there. I had already prepared a sour trait on my sword for this, but when I was ziplining, I got literally shot out of the sky by a mosquito. No! I can't believe it, but Akisa was so lucky and she didn't even get shot out of the sky. So I had to run up there again, but when I went up on the zipline again, I think I was gonna lose my mind.
I swear, man.
But as soon as I made it there, Akisa was knocked out by a pair of mosquitoes I took care of. Even though I had a sub-weapon on my Antlion sword now, it still wasn't enough for the spider since it literally destroyed us. And luckily, since I perished, I could spawn next to this field station. But while Akisa was dealing with the Black Widow, I went for the Mega Milk Molar. I'm not really sure how anyone is supposed to parry against this spider. But to be honest, this felt kinda pointless even if we had the damage. We just couldn't handle her hits at all. We retreated back home since both of our armor was completely gone. The next day I made a new sword, the Spicy Coltana we got from protecting it from larvas, since this will be a huge upgrade to use against the Hedge broodmother I've been looking up. Akisa was tired and annoyed from the Black Widow, so she had researched different armor types and their perks that we should probably work on. There was even this toenail scimitar that Akisa was thinking of getting for us because she's aiming for a tank build. So what's so great about the toenail scimitar is that it will reduce the target's attack speed and damage by 10%, so that's an insane amount for the upcoming boss fights. The only problem is that we didn't really have enough toenails. So for myself, I was gonna work on getting the Fire Ant armor set because it's good for both defense and damage. The corrosion buff it's got, it has a 10% chance to make the enemies take 15% acid damage, so that sounds pretty good for me. Anyways, to get started, Akisa went over to the shed to grab some more toenails so she can make her toenail scimitar weapon. And there we go, she just needed to upgrade it now to make it more viable for the fights. Thereafter, I went out to destroy Roly Poly so Akisa could make a Roly Poly tank armor set. So close to the end of the day, I went to grab a little bit of sap since we were out and we couldn't make any more bandages. I was also by BURGL and was gonna see if I could duplicate my weapon for Akisa, but I needed more raw science limit increase. So that wasn't gonna happen anytime soon. Also, here's a cool thing with my new spicy weapon. Apparently, when I slice aphids and stuff now, I get insta-cooked aphids. On day 71, we had set out to explore the Fire Ant Hill since we still haven't been there yet.
Why is there a ladybug in here?
But I had looked up on the internet and this cave was said to be the best to get the quartzite rocks and the marbles for our gear upgrades. There was surprisingly a tooth down here too, even a gold one.
Oh my god! What the frick? Look at the quartzite!
Like, I'm not gonna lie, but this place was crazy. It was filled with so many ants, and these rock upgrades and more gold teeth and normal ones, jeez. But as we got deeper into the Fire Ant cave, we managed to find the actual Fire Ant Queen.
So she wants tasty toe jam sandwich.
Well, from our insane exploration, Akisa decided to go back home to dump all the stuff. I looked around the area for a little bit where I saw a whole jar of milk molars. The cave wasn't too far away and I got some stuff from a skeleton here. But the real prize was all of these teeth. Alright, since we already made the gear and the weapons, we're ready to attempt the Black Widow again. Akisa was handling the tanking a lot better now, and I was able to pull off way more damage than before.
How am I blocking those? He's a tank it, please!
I unfortunately perished since I couldn't get a single heal in, but somehow Akisa could handle this fight pretty well. We even had guests joining into the party, but thanks to the Beetle's help, we actually managed to take down the Black Widow. We were so happy with this since we noticed that the armor change made a significant difference. On this next day, we needed to have Akisa knocking me out and reviving me 30 times because she didn't have the reliable friend mutation yet. This is just so she can revive me lightning fast. But when I was about to get home, Akisa told me it was time for us to go for a little bit of an expedition. So when I was gonna go back, I literally got flung to the skybox and I couldn't do anything at all.
What?
Okay, after reloading the save, we were back in. Akisa had led me to this broken log here where we had to climb our way up. But this is where the trinket was that gives me a lot of different buffs to my character. It's a long list, but basically it's 10% to all my player stats. There was some milk molars here too that I wanted to grab. But next to the mega milk molar I wanted, I saw my first moth up here. I got seriously low, but I tried going for the milk molar at least. This really had my heart pumping. I managed to lead the closer towards me in a much better spot now, and I got my first moth. But now, it was time to get the Akisa's trinket next. She had already looked up where it was, so we started running over there. The entrance to it was somewhat blocked, so she thought it was just a different path up there now, since she saw it from an old Grounded video. She got me to follow her on top of this cable where the battery was, and that was the worst decision ever.
Oh! Akisa! me into it!
Well, after a careful check, we had to somehow get inside this bin, and the only way to do it was to anger the wasps by destroying their nests. Akisa got one of their nests destroyed and angered them immediately. The next one proved to be a little bit more complicated since we had to build up towards it just to destroy it. So with this one destroyed, all we have to do now is to go to bed, which will trigger a new cutscene that will open up the bin towards the wasps. But we had to make use of this new day either way, so we went down under the shed to start collecting a little bit of stuff. But now, it was time to fight this Black Widow. We felt kinda prepared for it now. We did insane work of her, and Akisa could handle the tanking of her really well. Finally, we had defeated it.
Nice!
But before we left this place for now, we wanted to grab all of the last remaining teeth in the area. And here we go. This should be the last one here. But when we got back home, we quickly had to deal with another invasion of mosquitoes. Nothing we couldn't handle though. On day 74, we woke up from a bed slumber and the wasps were mad and broke out from the bin. So now it was time to head back in there. I grabbed the tooth that was behind the book, and Akisa grabbed one she found in a very dark place, but no signs of the trinket that she wanted. These game devs are really sneaky since there was a tooth hiding inside the freaking fan as well. But anyways, inside this jar, Akisa found her shield solidifier trinket that gives her more blockage, so she can hold up her shield for longer until she gets stunned. There was even another tooth in here that I could grab, but we had to quickly take care of this annoying Black Widow. This spot here was also for a Black Widow trinket that is capable of summoning those small minions to fight for you. But I didn't really care about it too much since I really liked the one I already had. So by the end of the day, we had to farm this grub so we can make more potions that would heal us as well. It's still continuing with the farming on day 75. We needed a lot of this grub sludge. I went to grab a lot of lily pad wax. In the meantime, Akisa farmed some grub so we could make some more lanterns. But today was just a productive day. We just wanted to stock up on a lot of things like food and such, so we were prepared for the upcoming days. On day 76, it was finally time to attempt the Hedge Broodmother. I had the Broodmother BLT ready and our asses were clenching from the nervousness of this fight.
Oh my god, look at her. Oh my goodness.
It's my weapon. My weapon is made for this.
To my shock, the damage we did to her was just extraordinary. Akisa's tanking capabilities were handling this just great. I had to deal with a lot of these small orb weavers that wasn't too bad at all. But the poison damage she did wasn't too bad and we eventually got her, giving me another Steam achievement. That's the first one in a while, but anyways, 26 achievements out of 45 done. I went to research the Broodmother stuff and I got a club, along with some armor pieces. But towards the end of the day, the wasp had finally arrived for payback. I even tried using the turret gun on them, but it was completely useless. It did no damage at all. So after a very intense moment with these flying peasants, our base was in complete chaos since everything was red and had to be repaired. On day 77, it was time for the Termite King. I had Akisa with me this time, which will definitely make smooth work of the king. Akisa was handling the boss just fine while I took care of the small ones. And as soon as we got them defeated, I picked up the BURGL ship that was on the ground here.
Here's the tooth.
Then a little bit later, we had to go back home to fix a roof for the base in case the wasps get aggressive again.
There we go. There we go.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Shark domain!
Something bad's happening.
Oh, he sent them flying!
I saw that.
Run!
Well, unfortunately for Akisa, she's just gonna have to collect more weed planks. So for the end of the day, we kinda just set up the rooftop of this base to make it more defensive. On day 78, Akisa put down a basketball hoop and then I made a basketball because I wanted to get started on some achievements now. At least the ones that we should be able to do. All I have to do is just to score from 40 centimeters away.
I have to shoot from here? That is not gonna happen. It doesn't go that far actually. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I had an idea. How about if I build some sort of a staircase so I can get more elevated into the air, so gravity will work towards my favor, because right now it's not, since it have to go upwards, not down.
Are you serious? That was not enough.
Anyways, while I struggled trying to score a 40 centimeter shot, Akisa were out farming a lot of this sour candy and getting bullied. I had looked up a guide now, and you can apparently get the achievement by throwing rocks into the hoop. I think I was hitting it from here, but it wasn't working, so I was thinking the rock didn't work since I watched an old guide. So I decided to take the basketball hoop apart, and then place it in another spot, hoping it would work better to my advantage. The plan now was to throw a couple of rocks, and then once I find a sweet spot where to hit it, I'll throw my ball instead. But once I started tossing the rock, I eventually got the achievement. My 27th achievement. But since I was done with that, the next thing I want to work on is getting a fire ant pet, since I will get 25% more damage increase with that baby ant. Well, we didn't really have the sandwich for her, and we haven't discovered the tasty treat yet. And the recipe could be found by a Stump Lab outpost, so I would just have to go out there. I found the lab down in the stump, along with some wolf spider. Akisa worked her way up to the stump while I went to explore the outpost. While Akisa went to grab some stuff on the stump, I went down into the compromised lab outpost where I found the tooth as well as some raw science. I touched the computer, and that opened up the next door of access.
There's the ship.
Alright, and there we go. Not too shabby. But now, I went by BURGL to turn in the ship we just obtained and bought a few more new recipes. Then I quickly stopped by the shed as well where the toenails were so I could grab them. And then back at home, I started baking the food for the ant, and while I was cooking, I finished up the roof finally. I also made a black ox crossbow since I might need it for complicated fights that sometimes requires a ranged weapon. Alright, finally I got the new fire ant baby. They also gave me another achievement which will make it 28 out of 45. It is day 80 and today is time to attempt the mant inside the Undershed lab. But before we went in there, I gave Akisa some of my health potions in case this will be a rocky fight. At least there was no Black Widow here anymore, so we can just run through now.
Well, there he is.
We drank our potion and started hammering him down. The fight was not too bad honestly, and we handled the fight pretty well. But as soon as we defeated him, I got my 29th Steam achievement. And by defeating the mant, we got this mutation which will give us the ability to spawn in a mant to fight for us as well, but it was only a 2% chance for it to spawn. But as soon as we ran up to this part of the lab, Akisa opened a door revealing Dr. Wendell Tully, giving me my 30th achievement. So after listening to what happened to Wendell Tully, we talked about the embiggening cocktail to make us go back to normal size, but we needed an ingredient in the refrigerator room next to us to add to the mixture. Now when we got that, it was time to head over to the Java-matic machine to see what our next step would be. I installed the embiggening cell into the coffee machine and walked on top of the machine, but noticed we needed a lot of more stuff to go for the next step. And by the end of the night, I started by hanging up some berries because we needed the leather for the Java-matic. On day 81, I came across a suspicious room here with a locked door, but it couldn't be opened since we were still missing out on defeating the Mantis and the Wasp Queen. I was gonna need some toenails for the Java-matic, and I researched on the internet, and it was said to spawn some inside here with the Black Widow. The plan was to bait her outside of her den to then snag the toenails. Meanwhile I was struggling against the Spooter, Akisa was working getting the level 5 coziness in the base for the achievement.
Ah, bro. 2 toenails feels so poor.
Also, I will have to upgrade my weapon to the max level as well, but I am missing out on a lot of these twinkling shells for upgrading it. I wanted to get this mask of the Mother Demon also since it does poison and venom damage. And with Akisa fixing the base, we finally achieved level 5 coziness, rewarding us with 31 achievements. Another scab scheme to the collection is a great start to day 82. But anyways, I needed to do some side quests, so I went down into the ant nest to look for their eggs to make some bombs.
Ah, it's still not enough.
But now, it was finally time to head over to the Java-matic machine and insert the items into the pencil sharpener. But when we tried deactivating the machine, it wasn't receiving enough power since those bugs were interfering with the machine. So this triggered a new event where we have to defend these modules from bugs attacking them. And this was just perfect because my mint mates handled them super easily. As we reached halfway of the brewing process, our modules were looking tough since they were also half HP. I went to deal with the big beetle while Ikisa had to defend the module. It was starting to get really intense as the modules were getting closer to break. But as we completed the event, it successfully made the embiggening cell and gave us the next achievement. So, 32 out of 45. We're getting there, boys. So, picking up the embiggening cell, it wanted us to go over to the next part of the main story quest, but this is where we're gonna wait with it because we need to finish up a lot of things before we go there. We had a lot of things to finish up in the data tab along with the remaining teeth, scabs and bosses. So, before we go off to New Game Plus, I want to work on getting my equipment upgraded a little bit more, but I need more of these twinkling shells that's so hard to get your hands on. At home, we had this stuffed one to increase my drop rate. These scarabs are so squirmy and hard to hit with the crossbow. So towards the end of day 82, I went down into the Undershed Lab because I was still on the lookout for these twinkling shells I couldn't find. Instead, I found an army of orb weavers, so at this point I had overcome my fear of spiders. On day 83, I had tracked down a tooth to this cave, but the degenerate already lived in here.
Let me get the tooth at least. Oh, come on! Yeah, please! Oh, I got it!
Kisa went to look over the data to collect. In the meantime, I was off doing other stuff.
What is this?
A Splinter Candle. Do you like Splinter Candle?
No, I do not. It's horrible and scary and disgusting.
You don't love him.
No!
But now, I upgraded my mint mace to level 8, but getting it to level 9 is gonna be tough since finding these scarabs is freaking tricky. Akisa told me to pay attention because she found a secret in the game where she hit this cooler box to make a ramp and unlock its location. I, on the other hand, was losing my sanity with these scarabs.
No!
I was once again in the Undershed Lab to look for the scarabs, but I just can't freaking find them here. I was starting to think that they were bugged or something. When I went over to the Mantis fight to look at the recipe for summoning him, I realized we didn't have it yet and that we were missing it. I saw that there was one ship module left up there, so I was gonna go grab it. Akisa had loaded up with a lot of planks because she was gonna go grab a tooth up in a pot. So while she was doing that, I went to pick up the ship we missed. Afterwards, Akisa found a lab where there was a lot of loot, making me insanely jealous because I couldn't tell what she found, but she made it sound like she found the treasure of the century or something. The point of the loot being here is that we probably were supposed to use it for the Java-matic event, but we kinda YOLO'd it. Anyways, a bit later I went over the creature cards because for some reason we were missing out on a few, and so I kinda tried to figure out which ones we had to get.
We have to do the Broodmother again because we forgot to scan it.
So this is what we missed scanning. Unbelievable. And while I was scanning this peasant, Akisa found one of the new ones we were missing. But now it was time to make another Broodmother BLT and plug the haze canister. So with me plugging this haze canister, I got the next achievement, so 33 out of 45 Steam achievements. So a bit later I was by the haze zone to grab a scab scheme deep inside here. It's super easy to miss. And while I was having a super peaceful moment grabbing my scheme piece, Akisa was having a blast with the flying bugs. But now, I was by BURGL to turn in the ship I acquired, but it didn't really give me the recipe for the Mantis fight at all. On day 85, I had to deal with the mosquito invasion alone, since Akisa was out hunting mega milk molars and such. A bit later, Akisa had parkoured her way up on the wall of the yard to grab a sticky key that she planned on using for a chest where there are milk molars hiding. When I went to grab a scab I missed by the fountain, something terrible happened.
Okay, so there is... Ah! Oh my god! The ant just pushed me down!
Well, on the second try I got it without any problem. And Akisa got 2 milk molars. She was really getting these teeth. But yeah, we were making pretty good progress collecting these scabs and milk molars for the achievements. On day 86 we went back to the Hedge Broodmother because I forgot to scan it the last time we fought her.
I spot location mark. Got one.
Finally! Now we have it!
Here she is.
Here we go with my damage! Yeah, look at that! Oh, there's so many spiders!
Little spiders.
This looks so funny in third person, actually.
And after we dealt with the Hedge Broodmother a second time, I went down into the Undershed lab to grab a glorious recipe we had missed, giving us a gong. The gong technically gives us a little bit more of a damage boost. In case I'd also missed a little note here that we also need for the report card, and it's very easy to miss things in this game.
Like,
Oh, look what I found!
Mark that one off the list.
So a little bit later, I found myself on a wheelbarrow because there was a tooth up here I needed to snag, but I found it very problematic to get up there. But then I noticed that there was a field station up there too that we needed to discover. But I read somewhere on the internet that it said that you don't really have to do any Fortnite to get somewhere because there is usually a way up. Well, while I was struggling to climb my way up, Akisa grabbed a few milk molars down by the pond lab that we missed. Well, I managed to make it up finally and get to the field station.
Oh, there's a tooth up here!
After I got the ordeal fixed by the wheelbarrow, I went down by the stump lab to grab a recipe so we could summon the mantis boss. On day 87, I was gonna make this mantis summoner, but we were very low on these broodmother chunks. So a little bit later, we went over to the lake because I need to get rid of some water fleas for the quest. We were nearing completion, so it was kinda important to do this. After I was done with that, I ran over to BURGL because I was gonna dupe the broodmother chunk for the mantis fight, but realized it was just too expensive. So I got the mint mace instead for the side quest so in case I could have it. Afterwards, I went off to the pond to finish up the next side quest. There was another one we missed by the pond lab too, but there was one more hidden, but I couldn't figure out exactly where it was, so I kinda just drowned. Alright, as I was continuing my exploration in the pond, Akisa picked up the Black Ant Queen creature card since we missed it. Now she just needs to grab the Fire Ant Queen too, which should put us closer to completion. And there we go, all that remains is just the bosses we haven't done yet. The next day I had to play around with the goofy ass ball to get my milk molar, but it proved to be kinda tricky.
Now I can't make this jump because of it.
But after a few hard-pressed keystrokes later, I made it up. Akisa had an annoying one to get, which was up in a tree, and these next ones were easy though. Alright, to get a break from collecting stuff, I went up towards the Wasp Queen summoning place to where you can find it and get the recipe for it. We need to seriously start on these bosses soon, since we're running out of days. Alright, with that statement, we went over to the Hedge Broodmother to fight her again so I can make the mantis stuff and fight him next. At this point, it's not really a challenge taking her down with our weapons and gear. We decided to fight it the second time since the summoner for her was pretty cheap to make. On day 89, I was starting to build a staircase to get up on this laser beam because there is a scab unit up there for me to grab for some dumb reason. So, there was only 2 of these this far up on these lasers luckily, and with Akisa's help, it didn't take too long to grab them. The next one we missed many times was on top of this rooftop that was not too difficult to build up towards. But a little bit later, we went over to the castle of Moldork to start building a bridge over there. There were a few last things to collect up there that we needed.
awesome.
Oh, don't you dare push them away! Oh my god!
Alright, on day 90, it was time to enter the castle of Moldork. And with this tooth collected, we have now officially grabbed all of the milk molars. But it's time to go inside this lab, but we needed BURGL to do some hacking to unlock the door for us. And when we got inside, we found the recipe for Moldy Hoagie, which is for one of the upcoming boss fights. And as we got further down, there was a button that we had to press, which then released Director Schmechter. Kisa kept getting in the way, so I hit her with my mint mace, but the fight was relatively easy. But when we defeated the boss, we got our hands on some nice blueprints, like the Sour Battle Axe, and of course the 34th Steam achievement.
Oh wait, maybe I should do the last one here.
Nice, we have all the upgrades, all feels good, man.
A bit later, I had to go out and farm these dumb scarabs again. They were incredibly annoying to deal with and find. I went back into the Undershed lab and I could hear them crawling around, but I just couldn't see them at all. So that had me thinking, are they inside this freaking pipe?
Now, let's see if it's over here.
Scarab.
It was there! hype this whole time.
And with that last weapon upgrade, I got the quest done and earned another Steam achievement. So 35 out of 45, so there's only 10 achievements left. We can totally do this. I wanted to get myself a sour weapon as well, and this new battle axe we got from Director Schmechter was really tempting right now. But I had to get rid of some green shield bugs to make the weapon. I was still on the hunt for more green shield bugs, where I built a big staircase to get up on this toolbox, only to be disappointed that there were none here. The scanner literally lied to my face. So I went to another location here where I had to do some stupid parkour. There were 2 up here luckily, so this will be enough for my new battle axe. But now it's time to make this new boss summoner items for both the Mantis and the Wasp Queen. The first one we were gonna fight was the Mantis, and he was weak to salty weapons.
Oh, it's so pretty!
Salty!
It wasn't too bad of a fight honestly, and Akisa tanked it pretty well. So defeating the Mantis gave us a new mutation called the Apex Predator that gives us more damage if we use a weapon made from boss items. But anyways, with the Mantis defeated, I got my next achievement, so 9 more left. I got some of the new pieces analyzed that gave me a set of cool assassin armor and a weapon. But now it's time for the Wasp Queen. When fighting her, I managed to stun her with one of my weapons so we could attack her on the ground. I did not pay attention at all, so I got knocked down from something.
What is she doing?
But the fight was a lot tougher than the Mantis, since her minions would also heal her.
Nice.
And that's another boss down. Okay, with the Wasp Queen vanquished, we got a 37 Steam achievement, so only 8 left. The next day I was looking over the new Broodmother armor set, since I had to make a set for the side quest. So in order to make this new boss summoner thingy, I had to go and grab some more toenails to summon it.
Okay, moldy. Oh my god, I'm missing 1 toenail. You kidding me? Just 1?
Anyways, while waiting for more toenails to spawn, we were gonna go finish up the super mixers we had left. There are only a handful left to complete, and we need it for the achievement.
Oh, I just smacked all of them there. Did you see that? Ow! Ow! Oh my god! Half my HP got removed.
Yeah, it's been my pain the whole time. You know what I've taken the most damage from?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, we're done.
Oh, let's get to science.
Alright, after finishing our mixer up, it was time to run after the next one by the lawnmower. Alright, the only things that will come for this mixer will be roly-polies and ants.
Oh my god, here is an army!
Yeah, this one wasn't that difficult at all to defend, especially with the goat weapon. The last super mixer we had left was up towards the castle of Moldork, so time to take this 5-minute zip line to go over there. But as soon as I was about to reach the end, I got attacked off the zip line.
Oh my god! You're kidding me.
I will have to take the long way up now, but before we run over to the mixer, I had to swing by the castle lab and pick up a statue we were missing for the date items. Finally, we made it to the last mixer, and hopefully it won't be anything bad to defend it from.
Oh, please don't be wasps. Wait, what's that? Mosquito, green stink bug, and the mite? It's the hardest one.
I even brought the waft emitter with me so we could get that side quest out of the way as well. And while Akisa was setting up the last mixer with walls and defenses, I want to deal with the wasp problem nearby. We don't want any of these swinging by and screwing us over. On day 93, when Akisa was AFK, we were suddenly having an invasion in this place for some weird reason. But with that invasion, we completed the waft emitter side quest without even starting it. But I wanted to at least try it once, so I activated it.
So with the Kisa finally back, let's get started. Oh god, I'll take care of these.
This was a little bit tougher than the rest of them since the walls needed some serious repairs.
Oh, they broke it through a layer. Oh my god, what the heck?
And as the timer went down, this became so much more intense to defend. But finally, we completed our last mixer, and with doing so, I got my 38th achievement. So a bit later, we went back to the Black Ant lab because we just finished doing all of the mixers and we're curious what that locked room was containing. There was a figurine, a pod smacker, and some garbage loot. Not really what we expected at the endgame. After we did that, Akisa went to check our data that we needed to collect while I took care of some larvas for the side quest. So basically, all the side quests we have left to do is what shows. There are no more BURGL quests I have to do after these 3. I went back to BURGL to confirm if I was right. I was, but I accidentally picked up a daily quest instead. This one isn't needed for the report card. On day 94, we were trying to wrap up the last remaining things we needed for the 100% report card. I myself was looking for all the statues because Akisa couldn't pick them up, so she worked on the rest. So today we were gonna do the next boss we had left to do, but I was struggling to find the entrance. But Akisa found it easily and wasn't even looking for it. But now it's time to attempt the hardest boss in this entire game. Okay, achievement 39 out of 45.
Unlock every creature card. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Ow. Did you stop attacking me?
Yeah, I'm trying to get aggro from her. So you're probably just doing so much damage to her, it's pulling it.
Oh, nice. That was easy. Clean this up.
What?
Akisa? What is this? Oh my god. Did you see her health? It went up.
The boss was capable of doing poison gas, dropping bombs on us, and reducing our health by an insane amount. I was even very close to vanishing from one of the exploding bombs she dropped on me. So the longer this goes on, the more I run out of heals. I felt powerless because my attacks were doing nothing to her. This boss was hurting too because as soon as I got revived, I was fighting for my life.
No.
Is she
No.
this time?
No, she's not. You can't loot it.
What?
I have no heals.
Broodmother got stronger in this new phase and the damage on my mace did absolutely nothing. I kept on getting spanked by the boss, like this was crazy. And then Akisa as well.
I'm down.
I'm not finished yet.
All I had was the bandages, but they did nothing. But this boss was just too much for us and we eventually lost since we both went down by some bombs. So basically, we need to prepare a little bit more for it with food buffs and everything, because clearly this was the hardest one we've ever fought so far. The problem about the infected broodmother fight is that we need the previous boss parts just to make the moldy hoagie, so we're gonna have to fight the previous bosses again. So the next day started by tackling the Wasp Queen boss. It was a breeze. Before we were gonna do the Hedge broodmother, I quickly stopped by the super dupe machine to duplicate some toenails for the infected broodmother. We decided to do a few of these broodmother fights to get as many parts as we could, but something got me thinking. Akisa doesn't have a proper mint weapon except the mace, and her toenail scimitar is the perfect weapon for this fight, except hers is a sour version. So I will have to make a new one for her so she can output the same damage as me for the fight. The problem of the fight isn't the healing, it's the damage. Because if the fight goes on for a longer period, we will run out of heals. I ran over to the Black Widow by the castle of Moldork to grab the toenails from there, so I could duplicate some more for Akisa's new scimitar. Towards the end of the day, I got her new mint scimitar made and prepared for the infected broodmother fight now. I found a mint trinket inside our boxes that I was gonna use for the broodmother fight since it will increase my damage by 10 to 15% or something. I can't remember when we got it though. But anyways, we were closely running out of time for this playthrough, so I started by fighting the mantis on day 96 again for its part. I even used a new mutation that has a chance to spawn in the man to fight for us. And back home, we were just waiting for the new infected summoner to cook up. We were not taking any more chances. Today, I will either go big or go home, so I copied this boss summoner several times. But this time, we were more prepared. We had the heals, the buff food, and the weapons.
It's time to lock in.
I spy.
Oh, he is fighting. Oh, he spawned again. Two of them.
Yeah, that's right. It's a mant party.
First phase went easier now. We were also a little bit more careful with our footing.
Oh, that's a big bomb. Watch out for that. You're near the big bomb.
The man definitely helped a bit by causing some damage to the broodmother, but he wasn't able to hold on for long. We went into the last phase without too much of a problem, and this is where it will matter. We were definitely doing it. The boss was less than half HP and Akisa didn't take too much damage from her flurry of attacks. I did everything in my power to stay alive and parry the attacks from her when I was at my lowest too.
Oh my god. I just healed. No way, no way. Oh my god.
But with the broodmother finally defeated, we got our next Steam achievement. That only leaves me with 5 left. And towards the end of the day, I made this mint staff since it was part of the side quest. I don't know what I feel about the weapon, but it wasn't for me.
Wait, that's what it does?
We were trying to wrap up the last bit of data we had left before we were finishing this up. Akisa was down by the lamp to grab one of the reports. There wasn't too much left and I was starting to feel pressured about time. But with everything controlled and checked, we were now finally ready for the remixer room. We had no idea what it was, but it was for one of the big achievements and we were supposed to do this one before growing big.
And here's the notes.
And once we discovered this place, we got the next achievement. 4 more achievements left to do.
Wanna activate it?
The thing you're about to do has big permanent consequences. If you have any unfinished business in this playthrough, please turn back.
I think we're pretty much done.
Alright, placement.
That's another achievement. 3 more left.
We're back here. Wait, we didn't get the achievement now, did we?
We loaded up the world again because we are dumb and you were probably supposed to do it this way first, but that leaves us with 2 achievements left.
Okay then. Would you do the honors?
But on our endgame report card, we only achieved a 99%.
No, you kidding me? What am I missing?
99%? What are we missing?
5 more scabs!
5 more scabs. We're missing scabs.
Alright. I had to go back into the remix room because I forgot to pick up a scab scheme. But after a careful double check, Akisa noticed we were missing 2 hidden recipes we had to grab.
Yeah,
Here it is.
And the last one was by the Hedge Lab in the exposed pipe. Well, at the start of day 98, it was finally time for the reveal.
Oh, we got 100% already!
Yeah.
It already tells us!
Spoiler alert.
Alright, with this 100% report card, that leaves us with only 1 more achievement left to do. All we gotta do now is finish up the storyline in the New Game Plus. Our base and gear we still got to keep, so with us playing the New Game Plus, we got new powerful enemies that are all juiced up, well, yoked up. So now we just gotta rescue BURGL again. We kinda split up. I went over to the Hedge Lab real quick to grab the ship and such. While Akisa was making some aphid slippers so we can zoom through the zone since it gives us more movement speed. She went by BURGL as well to turn in the ship while I was still running back. Day 99, we split up. I went over to the Black Ant lab to work on getting the next super ship, and Akisa was down by the Pond lab again to work on that. All the new enemies were kinda difficult to deal with, but we were hoping our gear would be enough. But I ran into an issue when I was gonna fight the assistant manager because all the bosses are now more powered up than before. So Akisa was immediately stopping what she was doing and came over to help me deal with this boss.
I don't know if you noticed how hard it is to avoid those lasers now. Oh my god, 12,000! Super ship.
Now we quickly ran over to the Pond lab to grab the ship and open up the hatch so we could get out easier. And then a bit later we were by the Hedge Lab, we smacked the boss into oblivion as fast as we could and then grabbed the ship. and all we have left to do is just the Undershed Lab to complete. We ran past the Black Widow because she is just a distraction. On day 100, it was time for demand because time was precious to us right now. I dealt with the small empowered bugs while Akisa was handling the boss. Alright, that's demand defeated. I talked to Wendell super quickly and then ran off to the Java-matic machine. We got the parts inserted to the machine and it was time for the Java-matic event. Akisa had built walls around the module, so hopefully this will be enough because we're in New Game Plus and the bugs will hit much harder now. But we already had difficulties with this event. The bugs went through our walls like it was nothing. And then successfully destroyed this module. But we still had time to beat this within 100 days, so I ran down to the Java-matic lab to grab some bricks at the chest. So with these extra bricks, I started double laying the modules to prevent further problems. This was it. It was now or never. If we don't beat it this time, we won't make it to the 100-day challenge. We went fully into lock-in mode for this. It was going fairly well for us and we made it more than halfway so far. I went to deal with an overpowered ladybug while Akisa was protecting the modules with her life. But I just can't believe it. We actually made it and we still have 4 more hours on the clock for midnight. But here we go folks, it's been a wonderful journey and a tough one, but we made it. With this last sequence, we got the last achievement. We completed all of the achievements and made it before day 100 was over. So, if you made it this far, thank you my precious viewer, like the video and subscribe because we might play Grounded 2 in the future. Goodbye!